Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning from wherever you are. Don't adjust your screens. This is not Zam. This is me. But we are here to talk about the very same thing that Zam would be talking about if he was here, and that is Aliens Earth, Episode 4, Observation. And off the bat, fantastic episode. Probably actually my favourite episode. No action in it, but so much happens in it, so much build up, so much shenanigans and covert chit chats and revelations and all that good stuff. That it definitely was my favourite episode. So we start off obviously at the end of the previous episode. Wendy kind of collapsed to the floor because she was in tune with the frequency of the xenomorphs, or they could talk to her, which is what she's kind of found out. And so at the beginning of this episode, they kind of test that and fix that and find the right frequency for her where she can communicate with the xenomorphs. They get her to kind of imitate the sounds and all this kind of stuff. And just brilliant. And the why, we don't know. We will find out. And there's just another little nugget of greatness put in. Amongst that, you have obviously the situation now with her brother, who is conflicted because he's now permanently employed by Prodigy. And when he tries to walk away, they're like, oh, if you walk away, then that's fine, but we're going to bill you for that lung and you're going to be paying for that extra lung because obviously it was in surgery after being stabbed by the xenomorph. And so Adrian Edmondson with a wonderful performance here as that sinister, I forget his name, but he just, the way he delivers, like that's the thing people don't realise with Adrian Edmondson. He's a phenomenal actor. And not only that, he's a phenomenal writer and a phenomenal director as well. But, just the way he delivers that kind of sinister line to say, basically, we own you. And we own your sister. Your sister is our property. Once their consciousness is transferred to one of our machines, they're our property. And that's the whole stuff there that's happening. I'm still not kind of a fan of the person they've cast to play her brother. It just feels just not right for the role. Nothing against that actor. I'm sure he's a fine actor, but it just doesn't feel right for that role. I'm just not convinced with him. And he just, the biggest negative I could derive from him is that he is just a plot device for Wendy. If he does meet an unfortunate demise, that would be good, because really don't want that character kind of moving forward. Anyway, on the other side you have let me find the name of him. Hang on. Slightly. There we go. Slightly, or I think Anush Singh. So we have Morrow, the android from the Weyland-Yutani corporation, talking to Slightly to kind of basically say, hey, bring back the eggs. And it's a wonderful kind of look into how basically grooming happens and how you can convince people to do things that aren't necessarily good for them. Well, in terms of grooming, just isn't good for them. But it's just a brilliant slow burn, how he just peels away, breaks down, gets him to trust him, finds out about his real name, finds out, about his family and all this kind of stuff. And then when you think he can pull out, Morrow has basically his family, he's located his family, and he's basically now threatening Slightly to do what he wants him to do. But at the same time, you have our man is it oh god, Tim Oliphant's character. I'm always terrible with names. It's nothing new. By the way, that's just why it's good to have Zam, because he's the one that's like, he remembers the names. I never remember the names. But you have Tim Oliphant's character. He's kind of listening in on this. He's kind of managed to, he knows there's something up with Slightly, and so he now knows that he's talking to the androids, and it's just another, like, it's interesting to see where that goes as well. And you know, will there be like a big corporate war kind of brewing? We get a bit with the brother where he talks about how Weyland Yutani are kind of I think that's the name of the company. Yeah, Weyland Yutani are kind of talking with other corporations to kind of, because essentially Prodigy has stolen their stuff and all that kind of stuff. But you get a small little history lesson when they're all sitting there talking together, and you think, oh, I'm jumping from time to time. I'm not actually, because after all the stuff with Slightly happens, he then walks in where you know, the brother and Wendy and the other kind of droids are sitting there talking and all this kind of stuff, and he gives them a brief like history lesson. And then we see that kind of conflict of saying, hey, look, you know, why is her brother allowed to be here when my family isn't? And the brother is obviously agreeing to say, yes, you know, your family should be here. You should all be with your families and all this kind of stuff, etc. And then we also have, I mean, quite a lot was going on. There was a lot of little seeds here. You know, then we have the doctor and the, I think she's the psychiatrist lady, kind of discussing about what the Prodigy guy, you know, plans are. He's like, why the fuck are we sitting here with all these aliens when we're working on this android program? And then we sent these androids into the an active disaster zone to kind of do this, that, and the other, and he's just getting conflicted, and he feels that they're in over their heads and doesn't like where this is going, and you know, the Prodigy guy's obsession with these aliens and to get them out there and all this kind of stuff is not the right thing, and they should return the products back to Weyland Yutani. So there's that. And then you also have Sylvia, who out of nowhere thinks she's pregnant. And the psychiatrist lady, Nibs, is like, you know, trying to poke and just try to say, look, you can't be pregnant. It's impossible. You don't have the biology to, I mean, you're literally an android, so how would that kind of happen? But, you know, it just triggers Sylvia more to the point where she nearly attacks Nibs. And again, it's just this, it's how this android that's got obviously the mind of a child and all that is processing trauma, and it's just another fascinating thing to say. Well, why does Sylvia think she's pregnant? And then we get to the point where obviously, back to the android guy as well, who is, you know, we get to see more about that little eyeball alien thing, and a very gruesome scene of how it attacks the sheep and enters it, and then it just stops, you know, comes back to life, and it's observing, it's learning, it's a very smart creature. And so we don't know to what extent that creature is, but I've got to say, obviously, it's good to see that, you know, we have more than just the xenomorphs, because the xenomorphs are played out, and the fact that Wendy could kind of communicate with them, obviously it comes to a head when we see the xenomorph at the end. It breaks out of, you know, her brother's old lung that is being, you know, kept in stasis and preserved in a glass case and being pumped and alive, and they implanted the little alien in the previous episode. And so it's good to see that it bursts out. But then we get this moment where the alien is kind of confused, and then Wendy starts talking to it, and they have that moment. It bonds, and we kind of finish with the episode there. And it's really fascinating, because if I was to say anything, is that this is what I wanted from Aliens. They messed up with Prometheus, and the less said about whatever Covenant, the better. I haven't even bothered watching it. It's because I don't want to. Prometheus, because there's always, like, when you make good lore, it's good to explore it. And they kept messing up with Aliens because it was more just like Aliens versus humans again. Here we go. Aliens versus humans again. And it's just like, with Aliens Earth, the xenomorphs are taking a backstage, and that's how it should be. There's nothing interesting you could do with the xenomorphs. Like, Alien Romulus was been there, done that, so bloody boring. That was just like, no, this isn't what you do. What you do is you explore the lore and the universe. You literally, like, in series 2, if they completely abandon the xenomorphs and just move into that world, I guarantee you nobody's going to be disappointed. Nobody's going to sit there and go, where's the xenomorphs? Because they're an afterthought now. That's why, like, Wendy doing the thing that she does with them is the interesting thing with the xenomorphs. So other than that, I'll be like, yeah, great, xenomorphs. Like, the other aliens that they captured and contain are interesting. So moving forward with Aliens, it does need to be just that whole universe and everything within that lore and within that universe, because it's very interesting. You know what I mean? The fact that there's 5 corporations that run the world, which is not too dissimilar to the current situation now. You know, Blackstone and BlackRock practically own all the houses, especially in the West. But we're not here to talk about that. Anyway. So, yeah, Aliens Earth is just the best thing on TV at the moment. I'm absolutely loving this. I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. I thought it was perfection. It didn't even need the action in it. It just needed great writing, a rarity these days. Great writing, but it's Noah Hawley, who is phenomenal. I mean, if you've ever watched his versions of Fargo and the criminally underrated Legion, who was the son of Professor X in the X-Men, and his most significant story was triggering the Age of Apocalypse, which, if you've never read that, go read all of that. It's all brilliant. But Noah Hawley has done a fantastic job. This guy is going to be like the Taylor... Oh no, I forgot his name, but the guy that basically runs Paramount Comedy, Paramount Plus. That's who this guy's going to be, Noah Hawley, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Alien Earth, yeah, highly recommend it. Go watch it. I mean, if you're here, you're not really here because you're not watching it, because I've literally just spoiled the whole thing. But on that note, let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this episode and what you're thinking of this series overall. And on that note, in space, no one can make ice cream. Wait, that's not it. Bye!